Hello everyone, Alien Volt here, and let's talk about Ghost in a Shell. Alright, so let's get into this. Ghost in a Shell, standalone complex first assault online. Now, this was an early access game that was released on Steam in July of 2016, so just about a year and a half ago. And when it first came out, they announced that it was going to eventually be free to play, but you could buy into it, get early access, and get some packs, different unlocks, a little bit of money to unlock things. And so I bought this for myself and my kids and a neighbor kid down the street, and we played it a little bit. Now, it was pretty basic back then. There wasn't really much to it. It was pretty bare bones, actually. And but it offered some decent gameplay. The graphics, on the other hand, were definitely last generation. It was on an older engine. I think you only needed DirectX 9 to even run it. So it wasn't anything that was going to blow your mind. But the gameplay could provide a decent, fun experience if you play with a good group. And I think that's the key. Now, they opened it up and they gave you quite a few classes here, or actually, let me take that back. They gave you 3 classes with each character having kind of a subclass or unique abilities, what was special to them. Now, each class had the same weapons, so as you came through and you unlocked the weapons, they were unlocked for everyone. In fact, even the weapon setups were the same. If you chose the same weapon for several characters, you couldn't modify that between characters. They pretty much stayed the same between any character that selected that weapon. So the thing that really made these characters unique wasn't just the class alone, but the subclasses, their special abilities, what they used. Whether it was, rocket launchers on their arm, or, a tanking bot that ran around and attacked players. It just depends on what type of subclass you utilized benefited your group and made your character unique. Now, they had some other buffs that you could buy in-game, and all this stuff was purchased through in-game currency. In fact, you unlocked it through chests and stuff like that as well, and you were awarded it through completing missions. It really wasn't anything that was considered pay to win, not at all. Now, like other free-to-play games, they did introduce unlocking with real currency, so if you hadn't unlocked something in the game, they did allow you to use real money to unlock something a little early. That is pretty common in free-to-play games. That's how they make their money and help develop and keep the servers going. But it's not a pay-to-win feature, it's a pay-to-progress. Everything in this game was unlockable through in-game currency. And now, since they're getting ready to close it down, they've actually lowered the cost of everything down to like 1 in-game currency to unlock anything in the game. Which is pretty cool if you have any in-game currency at all. Like I had 150,000 from my 9 hours of play and my packages. I could go in and unlock everything that I hadn't previously unlocked and try it out. Although, it doesn't really mean much because as of December 6th, I'll no longer be able to access this title. Now, I don't think this game was ever intended to steal fans away from games like Call of Duty or Battlefield. It was more designed to please an audience, a rather big one that's into the anime show Ghost in a Shell. And they recently made a movie as well, but there's a lot of anime movies about this and comic books, and it's a big thing in the anime world. And I'm not really into anime, but I decided to try the game out anyways because it looked unique and looked cool. Now, I do think that it had some really cool things in the game, although I do question some of the balance issues. Now, of course, I didn't have any characters maxed out. I didn't have anything where I filled up the ability bars all the way across and the perks. I didn't play that much. I mean, as I said, I had 9 hours into this game total, but I played a lot of shooters in my lifetime, and I can tell you that it didn't really offer anything that made me want to play more often. Now, while it was fun and it was unique, it just didn't have anything that pulled me in. I think it was just too basic. I think to really want to play this every day, you had to be a fan of Ghost in the Shell. And over a year and a half for me to only put in 9 hours, well, that kind of says something. There was nothing that really jumped out and grabbed me. Now, one thing they did do right was they allowed you to bind your keys any way you wanted, which was nice. The graphics, on the other hand, like I said, kind of last gen, pretty basic, nothing that stands out, definitely no ultra, extra, just low, medium, high. That was pretty much it. Which was more than some games in early access, but not enough to really give you any wow effect as far as visually. Now, you could buy some loot crates, and as well as these larger ones with real currency, but the loot crates itself were won in achievements, completing missions, as well as just buying with in-game currency. Now, you could customize your weapons as well. Now, some of these you had to actually unlock the perks, advance in the weapon skill so you could actually unlock them. Some of them are just purchased. It just depends on what you've done so far in the game. Now, although you could use real money to actually unlock some of these parts early, nothing was unattainable and nothing was all that hard to get. Although everything's pretty much low right now at 1 in-game currency, the prices used to be around 47 to 50,000 in-game currency apiece, which was enough to make you put in some time to actually unlock pieces. And the weapon customization wasn't bad. I mean, they gave you quite a bit of options, and with every benefit of each part you put on, you took a negative, at least one negative, on just about every single part. I think the only thing was the standard barrel. You could buy an upgrade for the standard barrel that gave you a little bit more stability, and it didn't have any negative effects on it, so I made sure I picked that on most of my weapons versus getting more damage and more hits to my mobility and speed. But they gave you plenty of options. I mean, no complaints there. I mean, the weapons were pretty dialed in, even though the shooting mechanics seemed somewhat basic. Hey, they had ADS, that's a plus. Now, they did have a marketplace in-game as well, where you could purchase skins, as well as some game time that gave you some incentives to earn currency faster. Now, they didn't have skins for every single weapon, but they did for most weapons and characters. Now, what would have been nice is if they actually opened this up to the Steam community market and allowed people to make custom skins and then, you know, sell them in game. That would have been pretty cool, and it would have probably drove a lot more people to the game. And I had a lot of game footage from this game that I played when it initially came out, and then a little bit, probably about 8 months ago or so, where I went back in and played it again, installed it, and I've had it installed since then. But I think it was, actually I don't even think it was 8 months ago, I think it was probably about 4 months ago when they did a big update. But I recorded footage, but somewhere along the line I deleted it. I no longer have it, so I went back in and I played it today and got some a little bit of footage through some quick matches, just so that way I'd have something to show you guys about what the gameplay is. Now, I should note though, to find the game I actually had to go in and view servers and find a custom match. Now, the interesting thing that they did that I really liked about this was that your character abilities that you could use, your special abilities, at least on a basic sense, was shareable with your peers, with your teammates. And that in itself made gameplay really unique. So if you had a team that really worked together, and I say if, and that's a big thing because over the year and a half that I played this to the 9 hours, it's very rare to find people that actually communicate and work as a team. Most people don't say anything, or if they do say anything, it's more on the lines of toxic. But had you come in here as a team, played as a team, worked as a team, utilized your abilities as a team and shared them, given the situation that you needed, I think this game could be very competitive and very fun. Not that I didn't have fun with it. I mean, I had fun with it in 9 hours. I don't regret playing it at all. It's just nothing that really, you know, drew me in. That made me, oh, I can't wait till I, you know, play this again. It wasn't anything like that. I'd jump on, I'd play it. Well, let's see how the development's going. I'd come in and play it. Oh, that was kind of cool. But that was it. Nothing that was, you know, addictive. Nothing that made me want to come back and just play all day long. But none of that really matters now, because just like Hawken, the game developers decided that they're not making enough money to support the servers. It's not a good investment, so they're shutting the game down. And not that I'm really going to miss this game a lot, because I barely played it, but for those who played it all the time and invested much more money than I had, it's just too bad that they shut these games down with no ability to play them afterwards. But that's going to wrap up my video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.